And again, on the hotel quarantine mess, why do we talk about it? Because more than 270 people in Victoria have died as a result of the decisions made by government to put private security firms, not the police, not the ADF, in charge of this operation. Daniel Andrews lied earlier this week and seeks to get away with it. This is what he said about the availability of the ADF to secure the hotel rooms that had the virus when people came in from overseas.
So my question is, why did you choose to use private security guards rather than police or ADF?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the use of ADF. I don't believe ADF support was on offer. And ADF support has been provided in very limited circumstances in New South Wales, not to provide security as such, but to provide transportation from the airport to hotels. So again, I think it is fundamentally incorrect to assert that there was hundreds of ADF staff on offer and somehow someone said no.
Well, we've shown you exactly that through the week, that 850 members of the Defence Force were asked for by Victoria and then they decided not to have them the next day. We learned this morning in the Australian newspaper, and the very brave Rachel Baxendale doing her reporting. I say brave because you should see what she is copying on Twitter. You should see the types of nastiness that is being put towards that professional woman. There were plenty of soldiers from the very start, about 100 who were apparently ready to secure the hotels at the very start of all of this. Yet, of course, they were not required. Again, as we showed you last night, within 2 hours of hotel quarantine being announced as the way that it would work around the country, Victorian officials were working out how not to use police and how not to use members of the ADF. Daniel Andrews lied. And if you want more proof about his lie, that no help was on offer, he was bragging about a relationship between the ADF and Victoria to secure the people in those hotel rooms. Way back in March, this is what he said.
I'm very grateful to the Prime Minister for him agreeing to this be a true partnership between Victoria Police, our health officials, as well as the Australian Defence Force. I think that will work very well.
In March, it was on offer and he bragged about it. In August, they never made the offer whatsoever. Andrews lied. And again,
I just don't have the time, and I don't think those who are watching this today and every day would want me to be spending time on those sorts of political issues. They apparently relate to matters that are 3 or 4 months old.
And if you ask questions about it under the cover of COVID, you're just being political. Premier, we're not being political. We're asking for accountability because 270 people in Victoria have died as a result of these decisions. How is that political? How is that old news? When people for another month are going to be locked in their house across all of Melbourne, much of regional Victoria. You can play your game, most of the media will follow along, but you won't shut us up. Because every one of those lives deserves accountability. It is not political. It is democracy in this country, and it demands that the people who made the decisions are held accountable for those decisions. You might have thousands of people willing to be your human shields on Twitter, mate. But there are 270 families in Victoria forever changed because of the decisions made under your watch. Meantime, we learnt as well that the very hotel security companies that stuffed this up are still on the payroll of the Victorian government. Not one person has lost their job. Not one person has lost $1. But 270 people have lost their lives.